Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meeting podcast. Today is a very special day because as I recorded, we are launching Eric AI. What is that? Well, for those who know me, I love coaching people, mentoring people in the meetings and event industry, business owners, solopreneurs, and also people working in any organization in our industry. And I was always wondering how I can scale myself. Well, that's it. It's Eric AI. It's me, really me. And you can work with me 24/7 in 77 languages. And instead of telling you how great it is, I just want to show you. So I'm going to do two things. The first one, I'm going to tell you a little bit how this platform came about and how Eric AI was born. And then we're just going to take three questions and see what Eric AI is saying about those questions. Fair? Okay, so how did it come about? Well, it's really serendipity of life. About a year ago, I had a friend who was coming for dinner and he said, I have another friend visiting. I said, okay, bring your friend. And so here we are at home, three couples, we start talking. And at the end of the dinner, the person I've never met before, we start engaging, was telling me how he was a pioneer when internet became civil application and provided internet access to many countries. And then he went into data, and then he went into cybersecurity. And he's now working in AI and has this platform called Marga.ai. And I was like, you mean that one day it is possible that I can scale myself? He said, absolutely. And you can do that in 77 languages. And my first reaction was to laugh and to say, yeah, right. Star Wars episode 15 in 10 years, maybe. He said, no, that's what I'm doing today. And I went like, what? And so we start talking, and one thing leading to another. We have uploaded absolutely everything I have written, I have done, I have recorded in my career. But also, that was the first part, the more the generic content, if you want. But the secret sauce and why this is absolutely unique and completely amazing is actually the onboarding process where for about 2.5 months, I start answering their question about how do I react in this situation? What do I say in this situation? What are the quotes I like? The authors I like? What are the methodology I'm using? What is my style? Would that be more formal, more informal? And so forth and so on. And at the end of the day, the results are absolutely spectacular. So what is Marga? People that I'm partnering with is the world first platform for capturing, protecting, and scaling authentic human wisdom. And that's, I think, where it's absolutely different than anything that exists today in the industry and in the market. Well, what the press release is saying, I'm just going to read two paragraphs to you because I could not say better than that. While most AI companies generate intelligence, Marga preserves judgment. We partner exclusively with the world's most trusted thinkers, leaders, and teachers to replicate their voice, methodology, and decision making with complete fidelity and zero hallucination. Each Marga AI mentor is built from proprietary IP, verified by the master themselves, and legally exclusive to our platform. The result is a new asset class, living, scalable human wisdom that can be accessed globally across consumer, enterprise, and legacy use cases. Marga is not an LLM wrapper. It is not a digital twin. It is not a chatbot. It is infrastructure built for high trust domains, leadership, mental health, education. So when AI is accelerating, actually human wisdom becomes the scarcest resource. And that's what Marga is capturing before it's diluted, lost, or hallucinated. In one sentence, it is absolutely unique and fascinating and is helping everyone in our industry. And now I'm going to show you what it is, how it works. It's quite easy. By the way, if you want to have a code to have 2 weeks free to test, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. More than happy to share that with you. But without further ado, let's go and ask the first question. Hypothetically, I would say, okay, a friend of mine who owns her third party company in Miami is wondering how to find 5 new clients before the end of 2026. Here we go, and let's see what it says about finding those 5 new clients before the end of 2026. And the answer is already here. If you're not watching this on YouTube, I will just read it to you. Eric, that's a classic entrepreneurial challenge. Finding those next 5 clients can feel like both a mountain and a puzzle, especially in a vibrant competitive market like Miami. The good news is that the meetings and event industry offers plenty of creative opportunities to stand out and attract the right clients, but it requires a thoughtful blend of strategy, relationship building, and a bit of chutzpah. From my experience and many conversations on the Business of Meeting podcast, the journey to new clients is rarely about a single big move. It's about consistent, focused actions that build trust and visibility. And in one of my sessions, I talk about the importance of being present where your clients are, not just physically at industry events, but also in the digital space and networks they frequent. Sometimes your next client is one introduction away, but that introduction only happens if you're visible, credible, and memorable. So encourage your friend to focus on genuine connections, not just numbers, sometimes reaching out to past clients, asking for referrals, or offering a small, high-value workshop for potential clients can open unexpected doors. People are droning in contacts while starving for connection. A practical story. I once helped a small agency owner who was stuck at the same revenue for years. Instead of chasing cold leads, she doubled down on her network. She hosted a breakfast for her top 5 contacts, simply to reconnect and add value. Within 3 months, 2 of those contacts refer her to new clients. The lesson? Sometimes is not about chasing, but about nurturing what's already there. And as Jim Gilling said, greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness, turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. What do you think is your friend's greatest strength or unique value that sets her apart in the Miami market? That's often the best place to start crafting a client attraction strategy. So, as you can hear, or as you can see if you're watching the podcast here on YouTube, it is human, it is my tone of voice, and it is not giving you 6 pages of information and sometimes hallucination that you have to read through, not knowing exactly what to do. So this is really like talking to me, business mentor 24/7. And as I said, it's in 77 languages with my voice and my accent. But let's go to the second question and then see what it does in terms of languages. So let's say that I'm going to ask a question about I'm working with a board of directors that struggle to make decisions and keep things moving. They will debate topics and issues, and it generally ends with a request for more information or more research and needing to bring the same topic back to the board at the next meeting. Does it sound familiar? I've tried to explain the opportunity cost of not moving forward, but need help in moving them across a finish line to make a decision. So I'm taking that question. Obviously, I'm doing the copy paste here to go faster, but the idea is that you interact with it at any time, by the way. And here is the answer. Again, it's taking, like if I was speaking, which I am, with my humor. Sorry if you don't get it. Then this is the answer. Eric, you've just described a scenario that is as common as café con leche in Miami. Boards, especially in our industry, can be brilliant at analysis, but sometimes allergic to action. It's a bit like watching a group of chefs debate the perfect recipe while the soup boils over on the stove. This paralysis by analysis is not only frustrating, it's costly. You're absolutely right to point out the opportunity costs, but logic alone rarely shifts a group dynamic. In my experience, what's often missing is a clear decision making framework and a sense of shared accountability. In one of my sessions, I talk about the importance of framing the conversation. If a board debates endlessly, it's often because the choices are not well defined or the risks of inaction are not felt viscerally. Sometimes people need a little nudge to realize that not deciding is itself a decision with real consequences. Remember that there's nothing quite so useless as doing with great efficiency something that should not be done at all, as Peter Drucker said. One approach that has helped my client is to create a decision matrix for the board. Before each meeting, clarify what are the options, what's the impact of each, what is the cost, both in time and opportunity, of postponing. Then make it explicit. If we don't decide today, here is what we're choosing by default. This can make the cost of inaction more tangible. Another trick, ask the board to commit to a decision deadline on major items. You can even say, we will make a decision by the end of this meeting, even if this decision is no or not now. Sometimes setting a boundary is the kindest thing you can do for a group stuck in the mud. It is important to remind yourself that done is better than perfect. What do you sense is the real reason behind their hesitation? Is it fear or making the wrong choice, lack of clarity, or perhaps a need for more trust among board members? Understanding the root can help you tailor your approach. And as you can see, again, it's sharing the information, it's guiding, it's mentoring, is asking questions so that the person is going to, with their experience and their current situation, find the right way to move forward. And that's extremely important when you're talking about business mentorship. Once again, it's available 24/7 in 77 languages. And so I want to also quickly say it in Miami. So why not saying it? Okay, say it in Spanish. And here we go. It is thinking. And there we go. Por supuesto, Eric, aquí van en español. And I will spare your ears about my Spanish and about reading that in Spanish. Although, why not listening to my voice speaking to you in Spanish and reading?
Por supuesto, Eric, aquí va en español. Eric, acabas de describir una situación tan común como un café con leche en Miami. Los consejos directivos, especialmente en nuestra industria, pueden ser brillantes para el análisis.
And as you can hear, this is my voice speaking in Spanish, which is fascinating. And I can go on, and I think I'm gonna not only I don't think I'm going to invite the founder of Marga on future podcast, but also I'm gonna start doing session where you can ask question and we'll see the answer because I think it's fascinating. But let's go with the last question. Assuming that you're working in a organization, whether it's an association or corporation in our industry, and here would be your question. I have been having difficulties with my manager. Every call we are on, she seems to single me out, and I do not feel as if I can do anything right. I have been a senior planner for 10 plus years, and I love what I do. I love my company, and I love my peers. I want to grow with this company, but have started to question this because of my manager. We used to have a good relationship based on trust, but now I do not feel that I have a safe environment with her. I feel she will not listen and I will just be wrong. What should I do? As you can tell, this is a very tough question, very important question. Why am I putting it here right now? It's because one very important element I haven't mentioned yet, and that is confidentiality. This type of question, I personally wouldn't be very at ease to ask it to anyone. I wouldn't want to look stupid, or I didn't want to provoke a tough reaction, or I would be concerned about the consequences of asking that question. But here it is in full confidentiality because no one has access to your question and answer but you. And that is the ideal environment for asking that question. And so I just click on it and listen to the answer. And you're going to feel empathy. You're going to see the human aspect of it. And instead of reading myself, I am just going to play it so that you can hear for yourself with my voice in English.
Eric, I can feel the weight of what you're carrying when you love your work and your colleagues, but suddenly find yourself dreading interactions with your manager. It's like a cloud over an otherwise sunny sky. It's even more difficult when there was trust before and now you're left wondering what changed and if you still belong. First, let's recognize the courage it takes to name this out loud. Many seasoned professionals, even those with years of experience and a proven track record, find themselves in similar situations at some point. It's not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. As I often remind people, you are not your circumstances. Your value is not defined by someone else's perception in a difficult moment. In situations like this, it helps to gently separate what's in your control from what isn't. You can't force your manager to change overnight, but you can take steps to protect your own sense of self and, if you choose, to try to repair the relationship. Sometimes a shift in dynamic is triggered by stress, miscommunication, or even factors outside the workplace. The challenge is to approach it with both honesty and curiosity rather than defensiveness. One approach that has helped others: request a private, non-confrontational conversation with your manager focused on your desire to grow and contribute. Share how you're feeling, not as an accusation, but as an invitation to rebuild trust. For example, I've noticed our dynamic has changed, and I miss the trust we used to have. I want to understand if there's anything I can do differently, and I'd love your feedback. This opens the door for dialogue rather than debate. Remember what Maya Angelou said: people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. If you try this and still feel dismissed or unsafe, it may be time to seek support from HR or a mentor inside your company, someone who can help mediate or offer perspective. What do you think has changed in your manager's behavior or in the environment? Sometimes identifying a possible trigger can be the first step toward resolution, or at least toward understanding.
So, as you can hear, it's my voice, and more importantly, it's guiding you, it's answering you, and it's providing a potential solution, but also asking more questions and be there as a business mentor. And there's so many different possibilities. There's so many different questions. If you're like me, a business owner, and you've been in different phases, it's not a straight line. It's a roller coaster. Now you have the opportunity of working with me 24/7, 77 languages, so that you're not building a business alone. So once again, thank you for listening. If you're interested, send me a message on LinkedIn. I will provide you with a code so that you can test this amazing tool for free for 2 weeks. And if you have any questions, send them my way. I will definitely make sure that it's answered by Eric AI in the future. Thank you, and we'll talk very soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Business of Meeting podcast. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you enjoyed the show, the most important thing you can do is leave a review and share it with your colleagues. It really helps spread the word. I truly appreciate your support. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't forget to visit eventbusinessformula.com to learn more about how we are helping even business owners like you. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.